One of the best feelings after returning to town is seeing that man running straight for you, that silly hat flapping in the wind, that face of determination knowing he's been tracking you down for several weeks, but you've just kept fast traveling all over the place, and every time he stops you, it's exciting. You've no idea what he might hand you. So today I will be listing my top 5 courier letters in Skyrim. Let's get into it. Starting off with number 5, we have the museum pamphlet. When you get this, the courier says, "There's a new museum opening up in Dawnstar. The owner is asking me to hand out invitations to travelers." And then when you read it, it says, "Silas Vesuvius presents the Museum of the Mythic Dawn, a history of the cult that toppled the Septim Dynasty, inside of his very own home in the great capital of the Pale, Dawnstar, free and open to all citizens of Skyrim." And of course, when you visit him, this will lead you to recovering the lost Daedric artifact known as Maroon's Razor. So I just love this letter because first, it does lead you to obviously a really fun Daedric quest and obviously a great reward, that dagger, but then as the courier mentions, Silas has had him handing out pamphlets wherever he goes. Clearly completing this museum is very important to him. Word about this is potentially spread all across Skyrim to many different adventurers, and then you are the only one brave enough to actually respond and make it all happen. Number 4, we have the Letter of Inheritance. So whenever certain friendly NPCs die, they might just leave an inheritance of anywhere from 100 to 500 gold to you, and these are always delivered by couriers. Now the Jarl, from whichever city that person was located, will have already taken 10% as tax, and they do let you know this in the letter. And then at the very end, it reads, "May this lawfully bestowed inheritance prove as a reminder of your enduring faith in one another, and of the Jarl's beneficence accorded unto you both." And while I don't necessarily like receiving any of these letters, I do really like how they're in the game. They just add that certain weight and meaning to the characters, and when they die, of course it's sad, but then it's even more than that. The entire local government is affected, and they really do show it. Number 3, we have Letter from a Friend. So after you've absorbed your first dragon soul, it's actually possible for you to get a letter that lets you know of a random location where you can discover a new dragon shout, and you can trigger this simply by using your Thuum really anywhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a major city. Now, in the middle of the letter it reads, "I for one desire to see you grow and develop your talents. Skyrim needs a true hero these days." And then at the bottom it's just simply signed, "A Friend." So I just really like getting these because obviously it's an easier way to discover new shouts, to get, more powerful, but then it implies that not only have you made real friends around the world, but they need to keep themselves totally private. They can't just use their real names. If the courier gets intercepted by, bandits, let's say, and they learn that person has been trying to help the Dragonborn, they could put themselves in serious danger. Number 2, we have the Mysterious Note. So after you've killed Grellad the Kind for Aventus Aretino, a courier will bring you this message, and all it says is, "We know," with the Dark Brotherhood symbol right above it. So when you speak to the courier, he says, "Yeah, I got this note," and you reply, "From who?" And then he says, "Don't know, creepy fella, black robe. Couldn't see his face, paid me a pretty sum to get that into your hands, though." And obviously this is a really creepy message, but what's so great about it is what it's about to follow. The next time you sleep in a bed, doesn't matter where it is, it could be in the Emperor's own quarters, Astrid from the Dark Brotherhood is going to steal you away to the abandoned shack, thus starting easily one of the most iconic quests in all of Skyrim. The only way to leave the shack without losing your head is by murdering one of 3 people in cold blood. So remember, if you get this message, you better develop insomnia fast, or else your time is up. And number 1, we have the letters from Rolla Siderius, and he can be found just outside of Kolbjorn Barrow in the Dragonborn DLC. And when you speak to him, he puts you on a quest to provide constant funding, obviously in the form of gold, for an excavation in the search of ancient relics. Now, the quest itself is actually pretty annoying because you have to wait for each one of his letters before progressing, but I have this as number 1 because sometimes there is humor in pain. So essentially there's 4 in total, and each time he gets more desperate asking you for money. So all the way by the 3rd one, he says, "I hope you're not angry, but I may need some more resources. Come around when you have time." And then by the very end, the 4th time, he just says, "You're needed." And what's funnier about all this is how the courier ends up responding each time he has a new delivery for you. So the first time he says, "Got this from a pretty excited looking dark elf around Ravenrock. He said it was important. I got it to you as soon as I could." The second time he says, "Another note from your friend Rollis. I hope everything is alright." The 3rd time he says, "Another letter from Rollis. He's starting to scare me a little." And then the 4th time he says, "I've got another letter from Rollis, but this is the last thing I'm delivering for him. That place is just too much for me." And there you have it, my top 5 courier letters in Skyrim. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and down below please tell me, what is your own favorite message you've ever received in this game? Alright, thank you very much for watching, and now I think I've got my own letter to send off. I know that you know. Can I just meet you at the shack? That would make this so much easier. Love, Greynolf.